Hello everybody, this is Kalina Angell with Rob Gauthier on the side here for the December 2015 ET Whisperer monthly webinar. As you can see, it's a bit of a different setup, and that's because we were traveling and we had all these weird technology issues on the road, and you guys have been wonderful and gracious enough to wait as long as you have, and for that we are going to answer all of the questions that we got sent in to us tonight. And the next scene that you're going to see is going to be your wonderful Rob Gauthier, who channels both Treb and Aridif, as well as many ET entities that you've seen come in, other spirit guides, higher selves, you name it, angels, Metatron, the list goes on and on and on. But obviously we're going to have Treb and Aridif in tonight to take your questions. And so the next scene you're going to see is going to be Rob breathing, oming, and getting to it. I'm not going to waste your time because we have a long, wonderful, incredible night ahead of us. And we thank you guys again. We love you, and we'll see you again soon. Mwah!
Greetings to you all, this is Aridif, that is A-R-I-D-I-F, and this is its spell. I know there are many queries for this evening, but before we jump in to the queries that you have provided, we wish to express a few concepts of sharing our own energy with you in this evening. As many of you understand, the first and foremost concept that we wish to share throughout most interactions is the concept that you are loved. When an entity expresses that they love you, or I love you, or you love me, these are two separate and segregate entities that are both splitting their consciousness and separating themselves from one another, but sharing love. Most of the love that is shared within the human expression is less than unconditional, although it feels extremely strong, although it feels extremely intimate. The version of unconditional love is something that is a great rarity amongst human races. But this is where we share the good news with all of you. The human race is working from third density to fourth density. What that means in layman terms is that when you are expressing the concept of moving in from the third to fourth. What it means is you are moving from your third chakra energy to the fourth chakra. You are moving from your sense of self. You are moving from your expanded understanding of reality, and you are moving from expressing and experiencing linear time into the fulfillment of your heart chakra, into the center of the chakra system, into the true nature of unconditional love. And unconditional, if you ask us to assign terms to this, what we would express is that unconditional love has no conditions. Even if someone were to take all of the money out of your bank account, you would still love them. You would feel great connection with them. Unconditional love is where you are able to feel that sort of love, that extremely powerful sense of love, despite any specific circumstance, despite any condition, and that is where the word unconditional remains. Now, when we express to all of you that you are loved, what does this mean to most of you? For the simplest essence, what we would share with you is the universal structure, the God, whatever you call this energy, that most of you see as the creator of all things you understand. The nature of this being is unconditional love. It is unconditional love for all things. Many entities see this as indifference. If I am experiencing something positive or negative, and this creator does not save me, does not share its love with me, does this not mean that it is a conditional love? If I am suffering, it will not help me. What we see wrong with this thought that so many humans perceive is this. Because this entity, because this energy loves you to this great degree, that when you are suffering, it allows you to experience that. It allows you to experience what you have created, what helps you grow and expand experientially. What we wish to do in this evening is share our own love with you. Myself and Treb Bor Yit NE, as well as Rob, and unspokenly Kalina, are all sharing a great deal of love and support for all of you. Whether you decide to take this love in and use it as your own, or whether you decide to dismiss it in the form that you desire mostly, it is still there. You are loved. We thank you.
Thank you, Aridif. Welcome.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. A little bit of a delay for the December monthly webinar, but we are very happy to be here.
Yes, but understanding, although it is perceived by many as a delay, in our perception it comes at the exact time it needs to.
Yes, absolutely. And I also want to express my love to Treb, who I know will be coming in a little later on.
Yes, Treb Bor Yit NE is with us.
Okay. Well, we have many questions for the night. And did you need some water before I begin?
We are fine for this moment.
Okay. Well, then I will take that.
Yes.
So you can just relax. All right. Okay. Well, the first question is for you. This comes from Sergi. He says, "Greetings, Aridif. Who are my more permanent spirit guides? How can I connect and communicate with them consciously? And do they have any messages for me that they'd like to share? Thank you."
First of all, we must express to you in our own perception what a spirit guide is. To define a spirit guide, we must break this down into several consciousness layers. When you are experiencing what a spirit guide is, most entities believe that this can be one of an infinite amounts of beings who are connected to you from your higher fractal conscious connection to the Oversoul. What we would express is that there are truly infinite amounts of beings that connect you in that way. They are coming from different star systems, different dimensions, different matrices. But these in our perception are not truly spirit guides. Those are just guides or entities that are connected to you. In our perception, what a spirit guide is an entity that is the same level of consciousness that you are. It is the same level of evolution that you are. So for the average one of you, within the human collective race, you will experience spirit guides being an entity that is human within the same guidelines of evolution as you are. They are ones who are remaining between third and fourth density consciousness. They are not embodied within this realm. They are not incarnating in this point of your human reference. There are three entities, on average for the majority of humans, three, that are connected to from various lifespans. For the majority of you, these three will have spent so many different incarnations with you, physically and non-physically. For the majority of you, you yourself have been one of their spirit guides when you are not incarnating and they were. This is no different for you specifically. There are three human entities that are connected to you. When you look at your chakra systems, what you see is different emotional complexes that you are going throughout your evolution. In those chakra systems, most of the guides will work through those emotional complexes with you in order to co-create better understanding and support from the non-physical side. Within your own structure, there is one entity who overlooks the first and second chakra. There is another who overlooks the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth chakra. And there is one entity that is connected to your crown chakra alone. In this guideline of systems, the one who is dealing with your crown chakra is feminine in energy. The most comfortable scenario of incarnation for this entity is one in which it is female. It is incarnated more so as a female entity or a feminine entity than any other. This entity experiences the most close identification for her own purpose and sake of being a Native American being from approximately the 1100 region. The entity who works from your chakra systems of the first and second are connected more directly to a masculine energy, one who considers themselves to be most identified with the warrior complex. The rest of your chakras is connected to an energy that takes neither masculine nor feminine energy. This entity has been very closely equal in the amounts of times incarnating in masculine and feminine, and does not connect to any one incarnation directly. When you experience the guides on average, they will identify most specifically with one incarnation with you that has had a great meaning or deal. And the difference in this guide is it does not connect to any one specific incarnation. It connects to a great variety of many. These entities you can connect with in any time you desire. You do not need to know their names or energies, you just need to understand what they are and what they are doing. When you are going through your own third chakra issues, you will have your secondary guide, or the one that you would perceive as neither masculine nor feminine. When you connect to your ethereal states in your crown chakra, working on the overall points of your evolution, you can connect your feminine guide. Just by understanding your emotional complex, that is when you understand the nature of the energy that flows with these beings. What we would suggest is that when you are going through any emotional imbalance or crisis, just know that your guides are there. The sense of inspiration and love you feel is often from them. Understand that those are not the only tools that you have when accessing this, that there are infinite amounts of entities throughout the Oversoul, throughout the Twin Soul, companion of the Oversoul, and all of those are accessible to you if your vibration calls upon them. And we thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Aridif.
Yes.
I have some questions from Race B. Let's see, let me find it. But she's requesting, if possible, for this to be answered directly from her higher self. And if not, to see if Treb would be able to answer it, but she's very, very much hoping that she can get it more directly from her higher self, if possible.
Yes, now first of all, let us express one concept before we connect you to Treb Bor Yit NE. When many of you ask to connect to your higher self, you are already connected to your higher self. We understand that when you ask this question, you are asking to speak to the portion of yourself that you do not hear, that you do not feel connected with. That feeling of disconnection is sometimes what causes the lack of communication between yourself and that portion of yourself. Some entities perceive higher self as any entity within the oversoul that is higher in consciousness, higher in grade of understanding. For this, we will connect you to Treb Bor Yit NE. One moment.
Hi, Treb.
Good evening, Kalina.
Good evening, Treb. How are you?
Yes, I am doing very well. I wish to explain that in this connection there is a message. This is not coming from your higher fractalized consciousness. It is coming from an area of your energy that is expressed as Pleaidian fifth density consciousness. This entity expresses that its own desire to connect to you is very large, that this being is trying to connect with you through your dream states. It is trying to connect with you as you are getting ready to sleep. It often comes through as slight humming noises within your ears. It also comes through often as a connection to a great deal of excitement for no reason. When you are connecting to this entity, it wishes to explain more so about its own connection to you. Now, we will not ruin any surprises for the dream states, but what we will say is that this entity has had an incarnation as a human, and in that incarnation as a human being upon earth. What it does is connects to you as in a marriage. It connects to you in a very intimate relationship where there are multiple children between the two of you. In that lifetime you were a male. This Pleaidian consciousness was a feminine one. But this consciousness is not typical of what most people would call star seeds or visitors. This entity is one that connected while it was alive, while it was incarnating as a Pleaidian consciousness. It gave a small part of itself in order for you to experience being married to that entity, but more so for its own experience of being human and understanding humanity. This Pleaidian race is one that has worked with humans very much and very longly within your linear history, but it needed to understand the very first person attribute of being here and experiencing the Earth Collective with you. With that concept being expressed, I am very excited to say that this entity is showing a signal that if you are getting ready for sleep, to relax your physical body, as we would suggest, breathing in your nose and out of your mouth very deeply and longly. And as you are relaxing all of the muscles from the entirety of your body, from the very bottom of your feet to the very top of your head, what you can do to help assist this entity to connect you better is work within the triangle of triads. What this is placing a triangle on your third eye, your crown chakra, and your throat chakra, and then in your own mind's eye connecting all three of them with a white pillar of light. The throat chakra will be just as the throat chakra is supposed to be within the human experience, which is blue and the third eye indigo, the crown chakra being violet. And as that connects to your own mind and heart, continue placing that vision within your own mind for at minimum 3 minutes But if you desire to make the connection stronger, you can use it and connect to it until you fall asleep. This will help bring more connection during your dream state. Also, if you place your intent before starting your exercise to bring forward all of the connections and remembrances back to your awakened state, it will help you very much.
Thank you. Now, she, because I haven't asked her questions yet, she's hoping for more direct, she wants to talk a little bit more directly about what's going on with her, maybe from this being or aspect of her higher self. She's wanting to know if there's any way that she can have these questions answered more directly in this moment.
Yes, this entity is connecting to my own self in this moment. Are there any specific questions that are needed to be asked?
Yes, there are. In fact, I was thinking while we have this entity forward, I might ask as many as I can. I see anywhere from 3 to 5 just at a looking glance. Her main questions have to do with health issues.
One moment. Let us first express before bringing this entity forward. As I am connected to the host consciousness, I am not able to perceive the physical makeup of any one entity. And when I bring forward an entity, it is such as a telephone operator within your years of 1960s, where I am allowing a consciousness to connect to myself, and my own consciousness, as it is connected to that entity, is connected to the host, and then the host is connecting to all of you. Therefore, this entity perhaps might not be able to see the physical concepts, but if you desire to still continue to speak to this entity and ask this entity, we can connect you.
Oh, that would be great.
One moment,
I'm sure she'll be
please.
thrilled with any format that you can bring forward for her.
Yes! One moment, please. We are here to help.
Good evening. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, and I am grateful for being here.
Thank you. So, I guess I'll go with, first of all, because she has a more pinpointed health question, but one is, why do I have health and odor problems, and how can I get rid of it?
Yes, the physical parts of you are connected to your energy parts of you. So as you think about physical problems, you have to also think of emotional well-being. The emotional well-being is most directed to your health. I've noticed your own energy when I've connected to you several times, and there's a lot of self-doubt. There's a lot of problems with senses of self. There are these problems with the majority of humans that we've connected to more directly. And this seems to be just an experience that all of you guys need. And because all of you guys need that experience, what we can tell you is that you should not step in the way of your own self to get the experience you want more than this experience. We know that limitation, feeling negative, not seeing you for what you really are, is a real part of this trip. But what we also understand is it can be a part of your trip to go past that. Before you fix your health, you have to fix your emotions. Before you fix your emotions, you have to fix your way of thinking. Many people are plagued by a lack of ability to think in a positive line. And in that positive line comes the understanding of what you are. What you are is a very wonderful and loving person. What you are is a very beautiful being. Working on seeing that is the truest way to get through the parts of yourself that have a bit more difficulty seeing you for what you are. physically the things that go wrong with you specifically is a very difficult third chakra energy. The sense of self, the feeling bad and looking back at your life, seeing a lot of things that you wished you would have changed, or a lot of things that you feel made you you. Those are the parts that are holding your physical body up mostly. There's a lot of other things, and they're extensive, but we don't want to get past the part that checking the emotions can be done by checking the thinking. Checking the thinking, then checks the emotions, then checks the physical. That's your ladder to feeling better. The odor part, although it's not an illness, it is still very physical. So continue to follow that train and that line, and you'll find yourself feeling and perceiving yourself a lot better.
Yes, and I know the other night when I read her question on the radio show, it's been heartbreaking with especially the medically diagnosed with the breath issue. She's tried modern medicine, Chinese distance healing, and I definitely can understand it's important with the emotions. But I had also mentioned things, like the bacteria, making sure that if there's good bacteria, that it's alkaline, parasites, all of these things. Are these things that would be helpful for her to look into, as well as helping with her emotions?
The physical parts of healing are just that. They're physical. You can fix them on a short term, but they'll always return if you don't fix the emotional, which is fixed by the thinking. So yes, those can help you, and if you start feeling a little better about your physical body, then you can start feeling better emotionally. At least that's the way it works with some of you.
Yeah.
So when you start going down those roads, remember the amount of thought that you put into that medicine or into the techniques has to come along the most positive lines. Some people take medicine and they think that this is poison, and then they take it hoping it will help them feel a little better, but there's still the thought of it being poison. That affects them very badly. But when you look at that and then you start taking a medicine or a probiotic and you start thinking how it will work and how positive it is, then you started fixing your emotional and thinking problems, so it will affect the good effects on your body much stronger, much better usage. So what we would say, if you want to do that, continue to try to fix the thinking and emotion part as you're taking probiotics, as you're taking vitamins, and as you're taking magnesiums and vitamin Ds, as you're taking the organ which is taste in your mouth.
The tongue.
Thank you.
You're
The
welcome.
tongue. That is essential to use that, and to scraping the tongue is the suggestion that we know that was shared before.
Yes, yes.
Using those things all together will really be helpful.
Yeah,
with,
cutting sugar, and there's lots of things
yeah, but
that can be done physically.
And the
Yes.
positivity behind scraping the tongue and doing the vitamins, that's what's very important.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too, because people who are healthy in the emotions in the third chakra, even if they might have a diet that can be completely the opposite, so they eat a lot of sugar and all of that, it's not as, they don't have the problem of sliding into discord because they're holding their own harmony, so to speak.
Yes.
So that sounds beautiful, and I can certainly relate in different health situations. And for me, although I don't think I have an odor issue, but I've had other issues
Yes.
where, especially with the third chakra, with stomach pains and IBS and things like that.
Yes.
And I know the
Yes.
more I work on my emotions in conjunction with the physical, it's been absolutely wonderful for me. So I appreciate you taking all that time. Well, I know because I had spoken to her, and I believe this is a she. I apologize if you're not, but I'm going to ask this one because I feel a pull toward this question because she also mentioned it twice.
Yes.
She said, I went to a distance healing and I didn't feel anything. Could you see what was going on? My healer said that Archangel Raphael and my ancestor came, but I did not feel a thing.
Yes, yes. There are so many things that humans don't feel. But sometimes the things that are there can't be felt or experienced because there's hesitation for you to experience them. And I'm not just meaning the skeptical nature of humans not accepting so they can't feel. What I mean is the part of their higher self that really knows how it needs to be fixed and when, sometimes not allowing that experience. For instance, if you're experiencing the desire to fix your odor problems and you're working with healers, it's not that it's not working or the beings aren't there. It's that your higher self knows that you need to continue having the odor until you find something breaking through your mind at a later point. So it continues. And sometimes when you yourself ask the universe for something and you do it in such a way that is very doubtful, will you get back something to doubt? So all of these things are a part of why you didn't experience that at that time. Now, the archangel energy was with you. I'm not sure if it is Raphael that you call that energy, but that was with you. I don't see any human ancestry there. Just your own desire to have an archangel energy will bring you the high matrix beings.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was a interpretation and just a frequency that this person, her healer, was connecting to and interpreting at that moment.
The healer was part of the equation, but more so you. Because you're desiring to be healed, because you're desiring to have things fixed. That's why distance healers don't work with so many of you. Because there is a question about if they're good enough, if it is valid, if it's true, and if it's real. Those questions put up big barriers between energies and you.
Oh yeah, I can definitely.
Yes.
Very interesting. I wonder if Reiki, not Reiki distance, but hands-on. I know it really, going back to the emotions, I can feel that that's the most important part.
Yes, it is.
Before you go, is there and this is a question for me, as she's going to bed for the night, is there some kind of mantra or something she can say to help her with it? Because it's easy to tell us humans just to feel better or work on ways to feel better. Is there something a little bit more hands-on that you would recommend?
The recommendation that the Treb being has given will work adequately.
Okay.
That was given to him by myself.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
I can feel your energy is lovely, very beautiful.
Yes.
I know it's not easy sometimes going through a channeler's body, so I really appreciate.
It is perfectly fine, and your energy is also perfectly fine. I'm very, very happy to work with you both.
Thank you.
Please give my own appreciation to Rob.
I will. Thank you. Much love to you.
Yes, and much love to you.
Yes. Thank you. Welcome back, Aridif.
We are back without hesitation all today. This is Aridif.
Thank you. That's so beautiful.
Yes.
That must be a wonderful, wonderful seeing all these beings to come in and be a part of this, yeah?
Yes, it is a great pleasure and a great excitement, both for myself and Treb Bor Yit NE.
Anthony has a question for you. He says, "Hello, Aridif. I was wondering if you could expand on anti-gravity. Is it strengthening the electromagnetic energy around you to create an electric isolation field?"
Yes, first of all, greetings, Anthony. Secondly, what we can tell you about anti-gravity is that it is achieved in many different ways. The electromagnetic field causing a release of what most perceive as gravity, that is one scenario in which it can come to fruition. Another scenario that many entities upon your earth has worked upon, Atlanteans, also ancient beings who have built pyramids without or throughout your planetary consciousness, are working with electromagnetic energy but also sound vibration. Working upon those concepts are two ways to bring to fruition anti-gravitational energy, anti-gravitational technology.
Thank you very much for that, Aridif.
Yes, it is a great excitement. Anthony has brought forward a great deal of information about working with anti-gravitational energy. We have discussed a great deal about the techniques and technology behind it. It is great, in my own perception, for humans to work on releasing limitations of inner and external technology. You are loved.
Thank you. And we'll be coming back around and have another beautiful question that merges the science and spirit into things. For now, I'm going to move on to one of Robert's questions, and he says, "Can you give us a message or some advice for our Grail collective that Suzanne, Sonia, David, and I found most recently? And are you excited or able to support our upcoming website project?"
Yes, first of all, there are many collectives that are connecting to all of you. It is not only the Grail collective that you are perceiving, but there are many more that are connecting. Many of you within a community of spirituality, metaphysics, New Age, whatever you desire to call this community, are starting to work together more intimately and more deeply, energetically. We are not saying that entities around the universe are waiting for you to connect to one another so that they can join your purpose or cause. What we are saying is, because of your own creative ability, because of your own creative desire, your connection and excitement, place a signal throughout the universe, and the universe hears you very well. It then brings the attention of those who wish to co-create with you upon many levels. This collective consciousness is very deeply connected to all of you. In my own perception, whatever assistance you desire of me is but of asking.
Thank you.
Yes.
We have a question, and this can be for either you or Treb. This is from Sonia, who says, and I hope I will pronounce this correctly at the end. She wants to know, "Can you please give me a verbal message from my wildcat friend from Singh-Akbar or Sai-Akbar?"
Yes, first of all, the entity is directly connected to you very frequently. It connects to you due to the fact that you are connected through your oversoul. The message that comes through from this entity is not one that is a directly connected source. It is an energy of ideals, and these ideals state that there has been no greater pleasure but to be in your presence. There is no greater pleasure but to connect you throughout the entirety of the days. While connecting to you, the excitement flows. Creativity flows from that excitement, and our connection is heart connecting to heart. That message is the one that is most loud within this being's energy, most directly connecting from itself to yourself.
Let's see. Deborah has a question for you. She says, "I am feeling a lot of energy in the left side of my head and a concentration of energy in my throat. Can you please explain this? Is it perhaps energy from the Fair key entity you told me about?"
Yes, first of all, the entity in itself is connecting to you more strongly in these days. That is a part of the perception of energy that you feel, in the way that you experience the perceptionary vibrational tones. When one being connects to another, there is a vibrational cord that connects them, whether it is through chakra system, through thought form, through excitement, in reiteration of the overall vibration, or the direct connection of one consciousness touching another. In your case, all of these apply. This entity is directly connecting to you, and that excitement has stimulated your throat chakra and third eye chakra. When we perceive the direct reason for you feeling the physical symptoms within your vibrational occurrence, what we are seeing is the activation of excitement and connection causing the stimulation to these chakras are what is exactly creating this. So it is not the connection to the being itself, but more so the overflowing of energy within the chakra system that is allowing the co-creation to exist.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. This is a nice long one from Sergi, so I'll read it. He says, for the past couple of years or so, I've been seeing specifically 222 or 2222 and some 111 numbers very often. Sometimes I see or hear 222 numbers 5 or more times per hour. I was researching the meaning of these numbers online, but the information that I was getting was quite vague and very general, so I couldn't really pinpoint what was the detailed meaning in these numbers for me specifically. I understand that as everything external is basically a reflection of the internal world, these numbers are a reflection of the ongoing processes within me. It appears that these numbers are codes of integration within or ways of communication of my higher fractalized consciousness with my lower fractalized consciousness, but I'm not sure. So what do 222 and 111 mean for me specifically? Why do I see these numbers so many times per day? And do these numbers generally reflect my current state, situation that just happened 5 minutes ago? Or do they typically reflect a more general state that I've had for weeks, months? How can I utilize these reflections? What should I do and act upon when I see these numbers? Thank you.
Yes, first of all, you understand the vibration of this reflection very well. When you are seeing these things, they are directly a vibrational reflection of what is within you, being manifested and projected outward into your reality around you. 111 or 11111. All of those numbers are the one repeating, so you are looking at the number 1, symbology, what is it reflecting? The number 1 is very simple within your own consciousness. It means at oneness. The integration of lower fractal consciousness to higher fractal consciousness is connecting your own consciousness to its higher form. It is a show of oneness within you, the solidarity of your own consciousness connecting to all external things in a desire and means to create oneness with all things. That in itself is your desire, your manifestation, and your projection of the number 1. The 2 number, although it is similar in nature, does not truly reflect the concept as 1 does. 2 is more of a symbolic resurrection of energy that is lied within you, in your soul's and higher self's essence, in your higher fractal consciousness more so than your lower. It is a desire to co-create a rebarring of energy. There are infinite versions of consciousness within this universal structure. A small patch of them belong to a certain race that is a future humanoid version. This race is called the Talani, and the Talani are truly connected to humans, as they are multiple millions of years within your futuristic, to be more precise, 37 million. 37 million years in the future resides a great expansion of consciousness that once resembled humanity on Earth. That connection is enough for you, your own self, to recreate a loop, for you yourself to experience the future version of yourself. There are several entities within this collective that are at different points in linear time that represent the smallest portion of your incarnation cycle in this race. By connecting to that number 2, it is showing you something about that race specifically. What it is reflecting back to you is a great spectrum, but what specifically the 2 has to do with yourself linking to that race is simple. It is a vibrational underscore of the subatomic particles that transfer from non-physical to physical reality in the way that the energy works when pertaining to this specific connection. That number 2 within your own subconscious and non-physical self lies an energy of duality. This race is what you would perceive as your type 2 future versions of humanity. There are future versions of humanity, as you well are aware of, the Nihil collective, that are a type 1 race. This shows you your extended manifestation of type 2 human future. When you see these numbers, there is nothing for you to do. There is no action that needs to be taken. It is only showing you a reflection of yourself when you are connecting to your oneness through the number of 1, and through the number of 2, connecting to the duality of yourself, accepting both portions of both your negative and positive, masculine and feminine, type 1 and type 2, loving and blocking, to accept all of those portions and find which within yourself is more fitting, which in yourself is a better fit to manifest a reality of the future version of yourself you prefer to be.
I'm curious, would his looking into numerology and astronomy, or I should say astrology, be of assistance to him?
It is very dependent upon the mindset and moment. There are portions where this entity is able to experience a resonance with numerology. In the essence of connecting in those moments, yes, it can be very useful. But in the moments where understanding your own manifestational qualities, understanding the reflection of what is outside of yourself, first coming from the inside, it will be less effective.
He says, can you expand on how location is a property of the object?
First of all, when you are looking at location being a property of an object, what we believe you are expressing are the portions in where we have spoken of how we are able to transfer our physical bodies outside of the area or means in a physical and instant way throughout our own reality. And when we are expressing this, what we are meaning is that the area or physical proximity of where we desire to be or where we are in that moment are truly a coordinate within our own consciousness. By shifting that number, it allows us to shift our physical bodies into a different area. So if you are asking what property that remains, it is only a property of vibration. So that coordinate is physically able to be shifted, just as your thought process or your physical attributes of the body. Your mindset and thoughts are just as waveable as time, just as waveable as place. So when you are looking at the location, consider it one coordinate of your own consciousness. In the universal construct, you see a large place that looks quite endless to most human perspectives. When you see that, you are seeing such a small area in where your solar system resides. The reason it occurs in that proximity, in that physical space, in that moment, is because the vibration of your solar system collective mandates it to be within that portion of the universe, within that specific galaxy of your Milky Way, within that specific arm within the galaxy of that Milky Way. And in that consciousness, as you are seeing the proximity and area in which it occurs, it is only a vibrational reverberation of the overall desire of its experience.
Great. And I was dealing with some of the other questions here, getting them around.
Yes.
He had also asked if we can impose sound or a light onto an object with our own consciousness. Had you gotten into that yet?
If you are speaking of sound and light being imposed on any one object, the vibration of sound can be shared with any object, depending on the object's vibration and desire, figuring on the concept of if that entity is willing to accept, then it is only an answer that that entity may give to you. If you are speaking of what most humans think of as inanimate objects, then yes, first density beings' desire of experience is to interact with all things. Vibration of sound and vibration of light can easily be shared. If you are speaking of entities in higher densities, there are beings that are within the 5th and 6th density, where if you were to share your vibration with him, they would not be able to experience it. They would not be able to connect to you because your vibration being so different from their desire of reality, of what they want in their reality. So it is very depending on the object in which you desire to share, and within your own construct of how you co-create with that, you may share it with anyone you desire.
Thank you.
Yes.
Deborah has a question for you. She says, is there an entity who wishes to step forward with a message for me at this time?
Yes, one moment. We will connect you. Hello, Deborah. Hello, Deborah. Hello, Deborah. Hello, Deborah. The calibration of the vocal system is such a unique thing. It's such a wonderful property. I know it does not seem relevant, but it's very relevant to what I want to share with you. I speak through this entity, through this being, through this man. I calibrate each part of the physical energy that goes through. I calibrate my connection to Aridif. As I calibrate my thoughts, they go into Aridif. When it goes into Aridif's sense of awareness, it's translated into the physical body. There are vibrations calibrating through every step. Each thought, each part of my sharing becomes different each step that is taken. The difference isn't a bad difference, it's a different difference. It's a vibrational tweaking. What I want to share with you is your vibrational tweaking. I have been with you long enough to see many changes. Through these many changes, great self-awareness has come. This great self-awareness has shown your own self how one can grow in leaps and bounds. Before you showed yourself this, you thought that growth that large would be hard. You thought it could be very difficult. Yet you've proven to yourself that calibration can come in many forms, many thoughts and many beliefs to change the calibration of yourself. I am so happy that I have been able to calibrate with you. I am so happy that we've been able to connect to one another's energy so frequently. The calibration that I've always desired is the calibration of sharing our own songs together. When you are connecting to me, I always feel like singing. I always feel like raising my own voice high to sing aspirations of love, aspirations of connection. What I want to ask of you is to share the aspiration of song, connection and love with me. I want you to think about me. I want you to sing while you do. When I connect to you, you'll feel a spot that's between your heart and your throat. It comes right here. It's a color that is between red and white. It is redder than white, so it is a dark pink. That feeling is calibration. That feeling is a change of energy. That change of energy is a part of you that connects to me, that helps both of our vibrations link. I love you so much. You have calibrated my own life. You have calibrated my heart. I can never be thankful enough for sharing our calibrations together.
Oh.
Thank you so much.
Oh. So sweet.
We are back without hesitation or delay. This is Aridif yet again.
Thank you, Aridif. Wow. More water?
No, we are fine in this moment, but thank you.
Excellent. Well, we have an anonymous question from California.
Yes.
One of my most favorite places in the whole wide world, as you know.
Yes.
This person says, I have had chronic fatigue issues since I was a teen. I wake up feeling exhausted rather than refreshed, and it keeps me from feeling well enough to get up, go out, and live my life with passion. I woke up this morning wondering if an entity of some sort has been feeding off of my energy as I sleep at night, because as soon as I thought it, the tips of my ears began to get hot and burned, and the top of my entire head and crown began to burn, and then it spread down to the back of my neck. Do I have something or some entity feeding off of me during wake or sleep, and how can I solve this 20+ year issue? I want to have my energy.
Yes, first of all, looking at the concept of the overall fatigue or chronic nature of the fatigue. We have expressed before previously to many entities that through fatigue is a connection to your third chakra system. It is often accompanying a sense of self that is in balance or a sense of self that is negatively perceived. Also affecting the mechanism that most of you would call the action mechanism. Through that there becomes a slowing of the physical body. Now understand, within your own energy, Anonymous, there are a great deal of layers of energy that cause the chronic nature of this fatigue. It is not only the distorted sense of self, it is not only the lack of ability to connect from your heart chakra within your own self. There are a great deal of many things. When you are looking at the way that you perceive reality, when you are looking at the way that you perceive relationships, the way that you perceive others perceiving you, all of these things combined are adding up, although each one individually may seem small in the moment. Creating that reality as a child, you understood that you were tired, you understood that you were fatigued. Those energies accompanied a belief within your mind. Reality had proven to you over and over that you were tired. Therefore, a belief about you being tired became stronger, and each day, occurring with a waking up not feeling as you should, it showed you that you are continuously going to be proved that you have this fatigue. Now all of those things overwhelmingly throughout the years of your existence pile up on top of you. When you are in the moment of waking up feeling as if you are not completely rested, in fact feeling quite the opposite, feeling drained as if you have never slept in months, in that moment there becomes frustration. In that moment there becomes fear. In that moment there is a self-beating that is occurring. That is when entities can attach to you. That is where energies who see that your energy is large and also see it is imbalanced in that moment have their opportunity to connect to you. In that moment they do, and in that morning that you are describing, it did occur. There was an entity who connected to you as soon as your desperation in the mind started, as soon as your feeling of helplessness started. It attached to you. As it attached to you, you understood its presence. Your intuition served you well. After serving you, knowing, the heat process started up as soon as your awareness came. That was the entity trying to remove as much of your energy as quickly as possible, and then leaving. Understanding that entities who connect to all humans in this way do not wish to be caught. They do not wish to be interrupted either. When you perceive them, when you know in your mind that there is an entity connecting to you, it takes away a great deal of their ability to take from your energy. In that moment, it severed the tie, so it brought up as much energy into itself as it could, and then it left. Now understand the continuing of your chronic fatigue will continue until the emotional work within yourself is more addressed more frequently. The more that you love yourself, the more that you perceive yourself as what you are, the greater ease you will find in your physical nature. Understand also that when you experience these entities, all you must do is understand that they are there and know that they cannot take anything from you without your permission. They must leave. Treb Bor Yit NE has used examples expressing that if you are looking at numbers as a number game, if you are looking at the greater the number, the greater the consciousness, the stronger the entity is, then he has already described that even the greatest powered sixth-density being that is ancient, reptilian, and malevolent, once attached to your energy, does not always mean that they will overwhelm you, defeat you, or overcome your own ability. You yourself knowing that you are connected with all that is, that is enough to rid yourself of that energy. When you know that you are connected, you are connecting your lower fractal consciousness unto your higher fractal consciousness, which is connected directly to your oversoul. Your oversoul is seventh density being. Any physical entity is sixth density or lower. Seventh density, with thousands of times more consciousness than any sixth density being, is much larger in energy. It cannot be pushed down or defeated by these six density beings. Therefore, numbers and consciousness win again. Connect yourself, know that you are connected. That is your ticket to freedom with releasing negative beings. We thank you.
Thank you. That's amazing, because you had brought up the third chakra in the beginning, and it sounds very similar to like Race B has her own things going on, but yet we have yet another symptom, and it's correlating to the third chakra. I'm also curious, so this person, Anonymous, are you saying that their belief, something must have happened in their childhood that got them to be tired, and they got frustrated and just kind of built more and more on it? Is it that frustration that led to a regularity of beings, entities attaching and feeding off? This person actually has a lot of energy, but they're feeding because of that frustration and belief. Is that kind of in a nutshell what you said?
It is all accurate, besides the concept of entities consistently feeding off that energy. When we express the word energy, what we mean is consciousness, expansion of consciousness.
Okay.
We are not meaning the physical energy to get up and move around. These two things are quite different. The expanded consciousness energy existed around this entity, and because of all the trauma or all of the imbalances within thought and beliefs, it continued to acquire more and more experience of being tired. And due to the experience, combining with one another, consecutively or concurrently, however you desire to look at this, then you will find a belief system being born. I've been tired for the last 2 days. Why am I tired? I have been tired for the last 1 month. Is this beginning to become chronic? After that belief is born, then the continuation of that energy continues to compel itself more so and more so. In the fear of having an ailment, both physical or energetically, then entities are more able to connect. In the imbalance in the first place, more entities are able to connect and drain from that energy. All of those things combined are yet the reoccurrence of this situation to come over and over. Once this entity steps out of the normality of both the thinking process, belief systems, and the way of perception, they will find that there is a great deal of energy within them. Once they do not perceive themselves as chronically tired or ill, they will perceive themselves to be much fuller. Once the emotional process is cleared, once the mental process is cleared, it will give way to the more physical balance of health.
Thank you. That's beautiful, because I know a lot of people have had this issue. It's been a situation that has kind of appeared to be on the rise. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Okay, so Sergi says to you, he says, I find energy healing to be quite interesting, and I was told that energetic healing also was the intent for me to explore in this lifetime. I wonder if you could scan my soul matrix and see if I already have any strong predisposition to any specific energy healing modalities that I could build upon and easily develop further to see tangible healing results. So far, I've tried a few energy healing modalities, but didn't have much success. Aridif, thank you so much for your wisdom, and thank you for reminding me and all of us that we're loved.
Yes, you are quite welcome. Knowing that you are loved is, in our opinion and perception, the utmost of importance. To perceive that you have perceived it is a great excitement to ourselves. Now, looking at yourself in the healing modalities, what we see is that your own chakra system, your energetic thumbprint, your lower fractal consciousness and higher fractal consciousness are all within predisposition to allow yourself to heal more easily than others. When you see your average human consciousness, you are perhaps in the 20th percentile of ability to heal more so than the average human modality or consciousness setup. So within your own consciousness, what we would suggest you is working with hands-on healing. This allows you to take your own consciousness within the 7th ethereal areas of energy that reside within an external other human consciousness and provide your own healing through touch. If you are able to use your energy to co-create with theirs, to work within the barriers of theirs, you will find yourself able to heal very quickly. The learning process is not something that will take long. Treb Bor Yit NE brings forward the concept of using a certain book. This book is called The Hands of Light. It is one that is a great tool to learn, where you are able to touch energy from others and where you are able to give energy of yours. Co-creating in that specific realm is Treb Bor Yit NE's perception. That perception is something that he believes can bring you a great assistance. We concur with that concept. Thank you.
Yes, that's Hands of Light by Barbara Brennan, I presume, that you're talking about.
Yes, it is a book through Rob's awareness.
Oh, yes.
That has allowed us access to see.
It's one of the main things that almost every healer that I can think of, from, Reiki healers to massage therapists, bodywork therapists, people who study the chakra systems, that a lot of people use that.
Yes, it is a very great tool indeed. Poseidon is an entity that is connected to you within your own collective as a god. Within our perception, what this entity is is an entity that is humanoid in nature, an entity who existed within the constellation that you would call Pegasus. In that constellation resides a star system with 4 planets. In the 4 planets, 2 of them are habited by these entities. These entities traveled to Earth long ago to co-create a great deal. During co-creation, these entities use specific crafts that were able to go both above and below water. Because they were from a very water-filled planet, they preferred living in the sea. During the living in the sea, they were able to manipulate the water. They were also able to manipulate weather. Seeing the acts with their own eyes, the very first entities who perceived these gods saw them change weather, saw them flying out of the ocean into the sky, saw them with lights, and saw them with great sounds, perceived them as gods. This is what we can share with you about this entity directly.
Thank you.
Yes.
That is really cool. Okay, let's see. I'm looking around, seeing any more questions for you. We have some questions. I am not going to say this person's name because they didn't specify if they wanted it or not. This person wants to know, he says, how do I increase the size of my penis? I didn't know if I was going to ask this question, but still it's a big fear of mine. And if you ask it, I will share the answer with all mankind that have the similar problem. It's not that I am unsatisfied with my body or what I have, but it is not exactly what I really want. I know people have eaten in a certain past foods that have helped them do this, especially in Africa, and did certain exercises, so please share with them and with me, no matter how embarrassing it sounds.
Yes, first of all, when you express that you are not unhappy with yourself, but express it is not exactly what you desire, then this means there are levels of being unhappy with yourself. First of all, we will express that we do not judge you for that. That is very common amongst the human collective. But what we will say is working upon that concept more so will help you do 2 things. Accepting will allow you to be more loving with yourself, which opens your heart chakra. Secondly, accepting yourself more so will allow you to work energetically with the increasing of the size of this organ. Now, when you are looking at the penis, the physical male penis in general, there are many things to do in order to experience enlarging of this. The most difficult is using your own mindset and meditation to work on enhancing this. As you are well aware, there are 4th and 5th density beings who cannot change physical attributes upon their body quickly. Even if working with this for matters of years, it could be very difficult. The human belief system does not accompany the support of this concept. So let us work in more general ways, or more specific ways. The general concept is to look up into the theories of mankind in this moment, to look for what fits you most energetically. Now, in our perception, the more specific ways is to work within your 2nd chakra energy. To expand your 2nd chakra is to allow your own energy to grow within that area. Working with foods that are very specifically orange in color will help you greatly. Working with orange foods and also working with foods that increase blood flow throughout the entirety of your body can be greatly effective. Now understand, when we say eating orange foods, we do not mean eating foods that you do not think are healthy. The ones that will give you the experience of having larger amounts of health involved. Organic fruits and vegetables are one way to work on the orange color. Now, working upon this will help within the concept of energy, the blood flow. It will help you with the physical portion of allowing more blood to flow into the region. Working with certain energies of perhaps, as you would call, stretching exercises. Any of your muscles within your physical body can both be bigger and also more easily to use if you are using stretching exercises. Now, we do not wish you to go crazy in the way of stretching your penis hard enough to hurt yourself, but what we mean is using different techniques worked throughout human history that have been appropriate and that have worked. Our own physical makeup is not the same in yours, so what would work for one of us would not work for one of you within any of your physical exercises. Working on the act of stretching the penis with your hand, perhaps pinching the head of the penis and pulling it out until it becomes slightly discomforting. That will give you an ability to stretch manually, but there are many different ways that you can look into this concept. Working on the concept of continuing erections throughout the day, working on making yourself erect without release more times in each day, will also help the blood flow issue. The more blood flow that remains without releasing, the more energy will build up within the second chakra, which then in hand will allow an expansion of that area also. All of these things can be of use to you, but more so than anything, loving yourself and accepting yourself in the physical and emotional ways is always the greatest and least resistant road to healing anything within the human body you desire to change. Thank you.
Thank you. And they're also wondering how they can become taller. He says there must be some way to increase the physical size of the person. There must be plants that can do this. I do not believe genetics is all there is, too. And please suggest some practical ways to do this. For example, what kind of herbs can help with this? If I eat them in large quantities or something similar, I know it is possible. And I also know that you had talked about this. We got this question before, didn't we, in a previous
It was of growing taller, but it was not specifically asking for herbal connections to this. In the herbal connection, you must understand, in order to give you a name, Rob must know it within his own mind. We do not access the history of Earth as we are connecting through Rob. We are accessing his own mind, his own brain. And in that format, there is not a great deal known about herbology or names of herbs through Rob's mind. But what we can tell you is that within herbs there are great different names, and each one represents different energy. To bring forward an herb and to place it in Rob's hand or awareness would make us more able to answer these questions. So if you are looking at a different way besides the herbal, there are many different ways. There has been concept of humans hanging themselves upside down for several minutes in a day, allowing their back to decompress, the gas that is between the spine, the muscles, stretching. That can work very greatly for some of you. But in any exercise or any diet comes a great deal of how strongly your mind is connected to it. There are certain medicines where if a human takes them and 100% without any hesitation believes that they will work, even if they are not that drug, what humans call placebo effect, it would work. And physiologically it would work, not just work on the feeling of the person or the structure of the mindset of the person, but literally attack whatever disease they are taking the medicine for. So in that concept, knowing that something will work, whether it is to grow tall in your height or tall in your penis, both are the same, and we thank you.
Alright, Aridif, this is the final question from this same anonymous person. They want to know, he says, what are the effects of masturbation, and in what frequency should one masturbate that is healthy and has no negative effects? I did it once a day or more, and I start to lose my energy. I start to feel very weak and lose my sexual power, and I want to regain it. I am considering quitting the habit at all or doing it once a month terms. Tell me, is preserving semen in the body a good idea or not? What happens to the person energetically if they masturbate frequently?
Yes, first of all, this is a very tailored question to a very general audience, and if we are looking at you specifically, there are beliefs that are in place which would allow you perhaps once a week to be a perfect vibrational setting, but this is against the normality of humanity and consciousness. When you are dealing with the masturbation, it is a very personal thing in your own mind and in your own concept of what is acceptable to share with others, but in the same groove of it being personal, the way energy affects persons is also different. If there are beliefs that masturbation is negative, if there are beliefs that masturbation uses up your own energy, then there will be more negative consequences. If you perceive masturbation to be a positive experience and to add energy and acceptance within your own consciousness, then it will be so. What masturbation is energetically is much different than what it is physically. In the physical sense, masturbation for the masculine or male physical body will allow you to take your own consciousness and to experience the moving through your second chakra with an experience of release. Now, we are speaking of energetically versus physically. So if you are looking at energetically, what masturbation is moving your own chakra system to allow a build-up within your second chakra and then a release. When you are looking at it in a more physical stance, what you are looking at is the letting go of your reproductive seed. So energetically and physically, we have two different varieties and energies. There are ways to use masturbation energetically in a different sense. Most consciousnesses are releasing through their second chakra all of the energy. As they are masturbating, in the physical essence, men or women will release out of their second chakra through the front of their physical body. Using a technique that we've spoken of previously called onking is another way to use your energy. It is where you allow all of your chakras to build upwards, using that second chakra excitement and expansion, pulling it up into your own heart chakra and letting it rest there as it builds, then releasing it to your crown chakra, and as it releases from your crown chakra, to simultaneously allow it to go back in the front of your physical body and in the back of your physical body as a fountain would occur, going right back into your heart chakra, and it reverberates. There are some who release their own orgasm energy through their crown chakra, and this is very dependent. When most humans are doing it to gratify themselves sexually, or when they are doing it to make themselves feel less empty within themselves, then it is released directly from the second chakra. Those are using it for both physical and spiritual beings are releasing it from their crown chakra. When you are making love to another person, and you are truly in love with him and truly connecting your love through the act of sexuality, it releases from your crown chakra. That is why onking can occur within pairs. But if we are speaking of masturbation alone, what we would tell you is that energetically, what you can do is a great deal of many things to allow yourself not to drain your energy. When it comes out of your second chakra, it is more so a drain upon your chakra system's energy. All the built-up energy that you have used is now being released. If you are sensitive to the energy of your chakra systems, you can feel a bit tired. Now, expressing the concept that you have continued to work through masturbation, going once per day and feeling tired, this also deals with your belief systems about the physical masturbation. It goes about your understanding of the physical human body, where building up of testosterone means building up of your energy. What we would say is that energy and physical, again, are not working in the same grooves, that you can produce orgasms without releasing your testosterone, or even without releasing your seed. It is a practice that you must occur on your physical body to find this. When you are working with an ancient technique called Tantra, it teaches you a great deal of many different techniques that can produce an orgasm without spilling of the physical seed, which means you are still building testosterone. By doing this for the man, it can be very great. Now let us work upon the feminine energy, or the female body. This is a much different energy. Yes, if you are doing it only to fill up your empty places of your emotions, it will do the same. It will come out of your second chakra. But if you are doing it to connect more so to yourself, to help build your energy, then again it will release from the crown. But in the feminine energy, there does not have to be a sense of tiredness about it afterwards. If you carry a great deal of beliefs, then it will occur, just as the man or masculine energy. So working with one another, you can find yourself in a greater deal of energetic exchange. If you are mutually masturbating with a partner, you can share your energies. You can also both use onking techniques with both yourselves or with one another to help connect your energies more so together. What we suggest for you is to work with your beliefs instead of against them, cutting back to once per week to see how that allows you to feel will be much greater. We feel that if you wait for 1 month, there can be a build-up that is more so than what you would desire, and it can cause irritation or frustratedness. That is what we would give you about masturbation. We thank you.
Thank you very much, Aridif.
Yes.
That was very helpful, because as far as Tantra is concerned, I was curious, what is the balancing factor as far as males spilling their seed, because I have read a lot of information about that. So that's very helpful. So it sounds like a lot of it has to do with balance.
Yes, a balance within all entities about all things is very useful. When you are looking at using sex or masturbation to connect yourself, that is something that is very powerful and potent to the spiritual aspect. But also you are in a physical body. Using it to connect to that entity in a physical manner is also very useful for your biology, for your hormones, for your sharing of energy such as oxytocin. By doing this, it allows both your physical and spiritual needs to be met. But what is greater, your spiritual or physical? If you find the balance between the two, that is where your satisfactory can lie. In each of you, finding a different balance for your own personalized needs is even more so important. We thank you.
Thank you very much. Here's some water.
Yes, thank you.
And for anybody watching, I also wanted to mention that anybody that does study Tantra, it does not just focus on the sexual aspect. That's one of many. Tantra is a huge, huge thing. And quite wonderful, along with also how you've been teaching and bringing back onking as far as teaching how humans can utilize that.
Yes.
So we thank you.
Yes.
All right, so Aridif, we love you. Thank you for being here tonight. Perhaps you'll pop back in to say goodnight. We do have 4 more questions for Treb here. I know we brought you guys back and forth earlier, but we're going to bring Trebby back in.
Yes.
You are loved.
Yes, before we disconnect, we wish to express to all of you that in sharing that you are loved, what we hope for is that the energy reverberates in each of you as an understanding that even when you feel disconnected from all people, even when you feel disconnected with your experience, your reality, and your universe, that all of it is still there within creator consciousness, within universal consciousness, within the earth collective consciousness, and that the love, the energy, the love and wisdom, that is the makeup of all of that energy, is always available to each and every one of you. We thank you and we bid you adieu, Kalina.
Thank you very much, Aridif. I love you and you are loved.
Yes, also I love you and also you are loved. Adieu.
Adieu. Hey, Treb.
Good evening yet again, Kalina.
Good evening yet again, my favorite hybrid reptilian.
Yes!
Well, we have a question from, actually a couple more questions from Race B. It said, why is it when I think about something, it happens the other way? I think I am the one who is causing the internet trouble. Just wondering, why, when she thinks about something, it tends to happen the other way.
Yes, this is often the occurrence with many humans, as they believe. I have thought and invested myself in this, but yet I am getting the exact opposite. There are two main reasons that this occurs for humans. The very first is that when they are thinking of this, they are making a request into the universe, and that request carries a bit of imbalance. It carries some belief systems that are not supporting that thought. They are carrying energy that is not aligned with excitement. So in this way, the example that we have shared many times before is that when you send a request out to the universe and it has imbalance, then it comes back to you in the same imbalanced way. So let us use, for example, I desire to have money. Now, when you say that, there are many beliefs that money is difficult to have, that you cannot receive free money, that there is always a price that you will pay for money, that in essence you are sending it out, and there are nagging beliefs in your mind that you will not get it. And then there comes the fear of not receiving it, the saying in your mind, the conditional concepts that if I do not receive it, I will be miserable. If I do not receive it, I will lose my house or lose my car. And in that essence, the great fear vibration rides with it. So as the imbalance comes, as the belief systems and expectations overwhelm the request, the universe says they do not believe that they are able to receive this. They are also placing a great deal of fear and resistance. So the way I will give it back to them is within their belief systems, because the universe cannot provide outside of your belief systems. Then it also says it was asked in imbalance, so I must give it back in imbalance. So when you express that you need money, the universe comes back without giving you money because it is imbalanced and fearful and expectational in the request. So this is one of the two reasons. The second reason is that when you are looking at your life purpose, when you are looking at experiences, there is always one thing that motivates you more than the rest. For example, if you are saying that I must have children, I must have a family and someone who loves me, then you go through an experience where you need money. You will ask the universe, I need money, and then you will feel as if you not getting it is a failure of yourself or a failure of the universe. But after you do not receive the money, you end up losing your vehicle, and you believe that this is negative, and you believe that it is unprecedented and not fair, that the universe is mocking you and treating you negatively. So after you lose your vehicle, you continue to go to work by catching a ride, if you will. At the work, you will find a very wonderful person who just starts, who offers, because they live down the street, to give you that ride. And after that, you find a great connection with this person, you marry this person, you have children with this person. Your desire to have a relationship and children was much greater than that need for money or thought of money in the one moment, so it gave you the greatest and clearest opportunity to have a child and to have a partner. If you would have not received losing of your car as a gift from the universe, you never would have met this person. So in that concept, the request that is stronger is the one that prevails, and often the weaker request must go unheeded in order for it to set you up to the greatest position to receive the strongest one.
Thank you so much, Treb.
Yes, you are very welcome.
Well, I really appreciate all that you do to come here and help us out and give us your love. So, Recipe's last question for you tonight is, she says, why did I choose Freddie as a partner? What is the connection between Freddie and myself?
Yes, the reason you chose this entity to be your partner is because of your own desire, your own need. In the decision, we would express this as free will, and all of you make decisions. But in the question, we feel more so that you are asking the why, and the benefit, and the reason, and the technique, or not techniques, perhaps we are not seeing this word, but the manifestation of how it worked. And in that concept, what we would express to you is that in your own connection with this entity, you have shared a great deal of many lifetimes in previous, and although you are not considering the fact that although there are some similarities, that there are many differences within each of you, and there has been difficult and there has been fun and exciting times, the reason why you have been brought together is to experience one another. There is something within you that this entity needs to experience. There is something in you that this entity must experience to go through in order to co-create, but it also goes to the other way, vice versa. And when you are needing an experience from this entity and you are needing to co-create an experience with this entity, you both are giving each other a very great deal of learning and expansion as well.
Thank you. I'm looking at these last two questions for you, Treb, but from both Robert and Sonia, two different questions. And they are so vibrationally similar. In fact, I mean, you could take half of their sentences almost verbatim, and really interesting. And they're both going to have you look deeply into their, in fact, their last sentences are, I give permission to check deeply into my energy. I think really amazing. Anyway, you'll hear it. We'll start off with Robert for you. He says, can you check my energy in order to check if there is still a resistance that stops me channeling? I give permission to check deeply into my energy. What can be done?
Yes! When you are expressing this concept, you are asking what within you is stopping this or preventing it from happening. Energetically speaking, there is not a great deal of resistance that is within your ability to connect. There are more so belief systems, there are more so desires in the deeper portions of yourself that are disconnecting you. When you are looking at channeling in whole, there is a great deal of many things that you desire to do with it. What we can suggest if you desire to see a resistance more so is to look and ask yourself, what is it that I desire from the channeling? When you answer this, what you can do is then give yourself the secondary question, which is, what within this desire of what I wish to do is going to benefit my own self as well as others? When you answer both of these questions and think and meditate, it will give you a line of thinking that will process a much easier vibration in your own consciousness to understanding the underlying connection. Vibrationally, there are issues within the throat chakra very slightly, but it is nothing above making a connection to a different entity. It is more so in the way that it will express more clearly. Working on those concepts will truly allow you to expand into the channeling you desire.
Thank you.
Yes!
Now listen to this question from Sonia. She says, can you please look deeply in my energy field to check some blocked points? I give you permission to look deeply in my energy field.
Yes! As I am aware of your energy, there is no great need to dig deeper, but within the concept we perceive the first chakra as experience with the idea of existence, knowing as much as you do about how physical reality works and how souls come to physical reality to experience. There is a part of you that is deep down that wants to experience the difference in non-physical to physical, which takes you a bit away from your physical experience, which then disconnects your connection to the earth. There is also the concept of the third chakra system, or the third chakra in the chakra system, that allows you to not look so deeply backwards and forwards into time. As you experience the now moment, you find yourself more deeply rooted in a less resistant third chakra. So living in the now is very important, not to push your desires too far into the future or look backly into your past. And what we mean by pushing your desires too far, we do not mean to have excitements about later, as we would suggest this because excitements are always positive. Looking what you can do with your excitements is an extension of that excitement. What we mean is that when you are looking at your future, excited to do things, to become so separate from that moment that you have placed all your energy in the future, or begin to worry about you being able to manifest that future. So in that essence, that will help your third chakra, but there is also the sense of self that is very difficult for many humans to experience, where the line is between you as an independent person, but also where you connecting to others within a collective sense lies. So in that connection, playing with that balance will help alleviate some of your resistance in that chakra, and those two are the areas in which you can work the greatest that will help you expand even more. Before I disconnect with that concept, I must express to all of you who I have spoken of your chakra systems. Many humans hear the words that I express about blockages and resistance, and there is often an accusation that they make within themselves that says, I am not good enough, I am not complete, I am not doing what I am supposed to be doing. But I wish to assure you that in that essence, that blocked chakra or resistant area is not anything that is negative at all. It is only your experience and beliefs showing you a pathway within your own experience, but also your chakra system, that truly is there to help you experience what you need to experience in order for you to grow in the way that you need to grow and desire to grow. So in that essence, we suggest that you do not look deeply into the words of blockages or resistance, and know that you are exactly perfect as you are.
Oh, thank you, Treb.
Yes, you are very welcome.
You are so wonderful. And is there anything you wanted to add before we close the night out?
Yes! I wish to express to each and every one of you that as we are speaking, as you are asking questions, as we are co-creating dialogue, then what we are doing is looking into parts of ourselves that we have not been able to experience, and in that we gain a great deal of expansion ourselves. So it is often thought by humans that it is a one-way ticket, that you are the only ones who learn from us, that we cannot possibly learn from you because you believe that we are so much smarter and more expanded. But I wish to express to you that although we have a greater connection to our higher selves, although we have a greater understanding of how many things work, it is only because we have evolved through an experience where we were once in your position, now, later, in our own experience, more evolved in that way. But that does not make us better or greater than you. It only means that we have experienced more. And in that node, and in that groove of energy, We are learning just as much from our interactions with you because it makes us explore ourselves and reflect as well. So I wish to give all of you a great thanks and a great gratitude for sharing. I also wish to give you a great gratitude this evening, Kalina, and a great appreciation. With those concepts being shared within this evening, we leave you all in love and in light, and we will experience each other again very soon.
Thank you, Treb. We love you too. I love you, and you are loved also.
Yes, I love you as well. Good night.
Good night.